I'm a big fan of using the Fidelity platform for my dividend cash flow portfolio and for selling options. One of the big reasons why is the interface. In this video, we're going to walk through everything you need to know in order to completely understand and navigate the Fidelity Option Chain. As you guys can see here, I have my own Fidelity cash flow portfolio and I sell options in my portfolio. Let's dive in, take a look at every aspect we need to understand with the option chain. All right, we're looking at an option chain here for Best Buy, ticker symbol BBY. And there's a few different elements we need to understand. First off, right here at the top, I'm gonna scroll down a little bit. Right here at the top, we have our expiration dates. Different investments have different expiration dates depending on their option volume and liquidity, meaning how popular are their options. Options that are rarely traded generally are only available monthly. Here's an example of monthly options with SCHT. Not as popular for option trading. As a result, we see only monthly expirations, each of these the third Friday of every month. January 20th, February 17th, April, July, etc. And as we get farther throughout the year, more option chains will be available. It's not just April, July, then January. More will become available every month. More popular option chains will generally be available weekly. All of these expire on Fridays, December 30th, January 6th, January 13th, 20th, 27th, etc. And then with the S&P 500, SPY right here, you can see that we have extreme amounts of volume and liquidity. Options are available daily, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So when it comes to the expirations you're looking at, you can select and deselect which options you want to look at. Right now you're looking at all of them, but let's say you only wanted to look at January options. You could unselect December 30th and unselect 3rd, 17th, March, etc. and hit apply. And then it'll change it to just these few months, 6th, 13th, 20th, 27th. So first thing we'll talk about here is the strike price, which is pictured from lowest to highest, $77.50 all the way up to $85 here. But there's many more expirations available, even if they're not very popular. You can adjust how many strikes you're looking at by clicking right here. Right now you're defaulted to 10, you can switch it to 20 if you want to, and then hit apply. This will change how many strike prices are available. Now we've got 73 right here all the way up to 90. And you can also do a custom level here. Instead of doing 10 or 20, you could instead say I want to see everything between $81 and $90, in which case you come here, just type in 81, tab, 90, and then hit set, and then apply, and then you can see a custom level of strikes. So there's your strike prices right there. Then let's look at open interest and volume right here. So open interest and volume sound similar, but they're not the same thing. Volume tells you how many trades have actually occurred at a specific strike price. These are all going to show 0 right now because today is not a weekday during active trading. They're all going to show 0, but they would show how many trades have occurred today. Open interest tells you how many active contracts are actually available right now. You'll notice that right here, the most active contracts are actually the $83 strike price right here. Now next up we have bid and ask. The bid and the ask is kind of like the marketplace, for lack of a better term. The bid is the highest price that somebody is willing to pay right now for an option contract. And the ask is the lowest price that a seller is willing to sell the option for right now. When we have a bid and ask that agree with each other, then you have an actual contract that's made. These two numbers will never be the same, but they can be very close or very far apart. Now, Best Buy has a relatively active option chain, but if you look at the S&P 500, you'll notice that the difference, the spread between the bid and the ask is much smaller than you saw with Best Buy. And this just speaks to the fact that there's so much more volume and activity in this option chain. And then lastly, we've got the last and the change. The last is the most recent price that has been paid or purchased for that specific option. And then the change, which you would see during an actual trading day, would be the difference between the current price and the most recent price. The implied volatility is a forecast. It's not based on actual results. It's a forecast based on historical data and current price metrics and based on metrics such as the Black-Scholes model, which explain how likely they think the forecast is for what's going to happen with the option. And as a result, the pricing of the option builds in some of this implied volatility. And then we have the delta here. Now, the official definition for the delta is the relationship between the change in price of the actual price of the stock compared to the actual changes in prices of these options. In other words, how much will the price of this option change for every dollar change in the actual price of the stock up here? And this number constantly changes depending on how close it is or how far away it is from the actual current price of the stock. Now we're looking at two different measures here. We've got calls and we've got puts. We've only been talking about calls right now, but we should differentiate between the two because there's a difference in how the delta looks. Remember, call options are different than put options. Call options can be used as covered calls if you are an option seller, and it can be used also to speculate on the future price of a stock if you're an option buyer. And then the right side of the option chain is for puts, right here. And with put options, you can be the seller or you can be the buyer of a put option. If you're a buyer of a put option, you are expecting the price to go down in value and you're trying to speculate on that price. Whereas if you're a seller of an option, you are expecting the price to go down or to be flat or to go up, but not to go down a lot. So you can adjust your view here, this interface, to say, I only want to look at call options. That's fine. You can go to strategy, click on calls only, hit apply, and voila, you're only looking at just the call options. Now, in the actual expirations timeline here, you'll notice that there are certain icons that can appear. You see an E right here, and that is for earnings. And this is Fidelity letting you know, hey, FYI, this stock is set to release earnings on March 1st. So be aware that of this specific event as it could impact the price of the stock significantly. And then we're looking at a different option chain here. You can see that we can also get dividend announcements, which tells you when the ex-dividend date is and when it will actually be paid. Now let's say you're ready to actually sell an option or buy an option, but really we're going to focus on selling an option. You can do one of two things. You can hover over the bid price here, because you notice if you click on the bid, it's going to give you sell to open. Or what you can do is just go over to the drop down arrow here. Remember, you're always going to be selling to open if you are an option seller. Sell to open. And from here, then you can select the quantity, how many options you're looking to sell or to buy, the expiration, the strike price, and it'll tell you the midpoint, the bid, and the ask here between the two. Now, one thing you'll notice here when it comes to the delta is that this number over here for call options, the delta is positive, and over here in the put options, it is negative. That's always going to be the case here. Between 0 and 1 for delta, for call options, positive, and then between 0 and -1 for put options for the delta. And what you'll notice here is that the delta is always going to be highest when you are deep in the money on an option, meaning if the current price is $38.41 right around here, then if you're looking at an option for a $36 strike price, it's going to be deep in the money, meaning that the price of the option is going to move very closely with the price of the actual stock. And the same thing here over on the put options here. Remember that put options are different here. If the price is $38.41, then 36 is way out of the money. And thus you'll see lower deltas because the likelihood of that option expiring in the money is lower. Whereas way down here when it comes to 39, 40, 40 and a half, you'll notice that the delta is close to 1 or exactly 1, meaning the likelihood of the option actually expiring in the money is really low. Hopefully this tutorial is helpful for you as a newer options trader with the Fidelity platform, and hopefully you learned something new. Make sure to leave your 2 cents down in the comments below. I respond to all comments I receive on the day I post a video. And that's all I got for you guys in this video. Have a great rest of your day, and thanks for watching.